Let's go, Garrett Nussmeier film study. We've already done the Jayden. I decided to split them up into two separate videos, and I'm going to let you come to your own conclusions. As you can see with the stat line there, Garrett Nussmeier was sensational versus Georgia. Let's see how you play when the game is still in the balance, because, of course, it is 7-0, 4:20 left in the first quarter. I don't know why I did that. But, so the first thing is understanding the importance of LSU actually giving Garrett Nussmeier snaps here with the game still in the balance, right? It's one thing to light up Georgia, which obviously is a way better team than Purdue, but we were down by a gazillion. This is still a close game. Let's see how you perform. And also Garrett Nussmeier is without LSU starting center Charles Turner, as he got hurt earlier in the game. So we get the dead ball snap from Marlon Martinez, and the first play here is a handoff. And this is going to be a big-time question, and I know we're ready to break down Garrett Nussmeier's throws, but number one, Noah Cain really finished the year strong, and it is without reasonable doubt that Josh Williams and Noah Cain were LSU's two best backs, as this run was nothing short of incredible. Now, first thing I'll say is if there was a star for Purdue, it was 90. He tore up Charles Turner in the first or second drive of the game. I don't remember. You saw it in the last film study. But this is going to be a very important question for LSU to answer this offseason. Do they want to reshuffle the offensive line? Now, they do have Lance Hurd coming in, who is a 5-star. We did an interview with Lance Hurd, and I have to admit, it was one of the favorite things I've ever done on this channel. It'll be linked down below as well. Very fun. He laughed a bunch. I laughed a bunch. He's a very good personality. But the big question is, do they want to reshuffle things? Frazier had a good game overall at left guard. This is a tough block. He's got to block down and seal this DT to the inside. And you'll see right here, he whiffs him. So this DT then slows down Emory Jones, who is the puller, and he is here to blow this play up. I think we got away with the little hold right there. But outside of that, all the other blocks are executed to perfection. This was the toughest block, but Noah Cain is still able to get through this hole. Look at the great block right here by Will. But where it really got special is right here. Bang! Right through these two defenders, and he breaks a third tackle here. What's interesting is Noah Cain and Josh Williams heading into the year, we didn't view them as special backs, but their rush yards after contact numbers per SEC StatCat were incredible. You'll see it from this angle right here. This is a difficult block, but not, and I know it's cut off a little bit. First thing is there is a huge difference in how Frazier and Turner snap the football. Turner and Martinez. Martinez does the dead ball snap. Turner does the traditional snap. And you'll see right here, Frazier should have had a bigger step with his right foot. And as you can see, he didn't even step with his right foot to get to the inside of this player. He gets too vertical here, and that allows this player to get through, and it's never good when you see an offensive lineman leaning, right? Whether in pass protection or run blocking. And was there a hold right there? Yeah, that should have been called. But still, should LSU switch up the middle of the offensive line? I don't know. I honestly don't know, but that's going to be a big question going into next year. Here we go. We get the big shot right here from Garrett Nussmeier, and this is what we were talking about in the Jayden Daniels film study, okay? If they're going to play press man against our best receivers, even if they bail at the snap, we have got to make them pay for it. And we have single high coverage right here, and this is excellent from Garrett Nussmeier. Pre-snap recognition. Look at this. So he knows he has single high, and he knows he wants to throw this football to Malik no matter what this corner does. So the only way you could throw this football to Malik is if you get this safety flowing this way, because if you get him going this way, there's no way he can get over the top and help Malik, and that is exactly what Garrett does. So you notice he looks at the safety, he looks left, and the whole time he knows he's working back to the right side. The one very fun thing about Garrett Nussmeier is his mechanics are very fluid, right? He's a very compact release quarterback. I just love watching him throw the football. It is a thing of beauty. It's just not a whole lot of wasted movement whatsoever. And look at this, just getting right into it, and then bang. Very fluid motion right there. Footwork might have been a little clicky for you quarterback experts out there. Please school me on that. So, yeah, the ball wasn't the absolute best, but we need Malik to catch that one right there. So now let's study the route. This is a stutter, stop, and go. God, this is excellent from Malik too. All right, so he knows his corner is bailing, and look at where he decides to do it, in his blind spot, right? So the corner really just has no idea what's happening, and he gets fooled right there, and that's all it takes, right? Now it's just a foot race, and Malik is going to win that. Good arm fighting right there to not allow this guy to get you off balance. And yes, this is tough. It's not the best throw in the world. It is slightly underthrown, but you got to make that play. Second down, get a little unlucky here. The play is actually well blocked. This is Evan Francione, a walk-on, getting a lot of playing time in the bowl game. And honestly, this would have been a big gainer if this block was a little bit better, because everything is blocked really well. And once again, what do we know? It's Brian Thomas Jr. executing another great block, right? He would have sealed this guy to the inside. Noah Cain would have got to the outside. Not BTJ's absolute best block, but as you guys have seen in the first film study, his blocking was phenomenal overall from start to finish. All right, 3rd and 8. We decide to go into empty, and let's see. I'm trying to remember this play right here. So here we go, 3rd and 8. Get a nice snap. Oh, yes, nice little throw. This is a dart right here to Malik. I mean, back shoulder away from this defender. Great catch by Malik Neighbors right there. What a throw. And we pick up a nice first down. Pocket is really good. Really, really great protection from this front. An overall really nice day from the LSU offensive line. Good job by Will. If you don't feel anything, coming from the outside, just squeeze everything to the inside. I mean, you just can't do this any better. And look at this throw by Nuss. I mean, my goodness. Good ball. We pick up a nice first. Boom! I'm looking at you. Yes, you right now. So, we're actually going to do something a little fun. I want you to play the role of quarterback. And there is a thing in football that has become popularized called the RPO. You hear announcers say it all the time, and RPO stands for run pass option, where the quarterback gets to choose whether to hand the football off to John Emery or throw the football here to Brian Thomas Jr. And he does decide to throw the football to BTJ. Now, if you're watching this on a premiere, if you're just watching at home, I want you to tell me on this play, did Garrett Nussmeier make the correct decision to throw this football instead of handing it off? And I'm going to let you in the comment section, whether you're watching this live or once again, wherever you are, I'm going to let you be the decider of that answer. And while we rewind the tape here, thank you guys so much for helping grow this channel to what it is now. There's plenty of ways you can support. Sometimes our film studies do get demonetized, so a Venmo, Cash App obviously goes a very long way. These things take a long time to complete. You can also go to powerhourlsu.com, get you some merch, or join the PHL Patreon. So you've come to your answer, you've come to your conclusion, and Garrett Nussmeier made an unbelievable decision to throw this football. It was the correct one. Now, how do we know it's a correct one? Well, as a quarterback, the first thing you want to see if you're throwing one of these quick passes is where the defensive backs lined up. See how far off these DBs are cushioning versus Malik and BTJ. We also know this slot defender, whether it's a back or safety, whatever you want to call him, is also inside, which creates a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-man box. So let's take a look at numbers. We have 5, 6 guys to block their 7. And we got 2 on 2 with the blocker. So you absolutely should throw this football because of the off coverage and the numbers advantage that we have. Now, if Nuss had decided to run this football, guess what? It would have been blown up by this backer in the hole. Very good decision. Remember that safety? He's all the way in, respecting the run with the pullers, and we pick up a nice gain. Very good block by Malik Neighbors right there. First play of the game, you guys saw in the Jayden Daniels film study that Malik missed a block pretty badly, and That's good. You like to see that because BTJ had been blocking really well for Malik, and I love seeing that players getting better as the game moves on. So that's good right there. It's really good offense, and once again, the mental aspect of the game, Garrett Nussmeier has a lot of it covered. We'll talk about a few other things as we move along here today. Now, we get to the 2nd and 4, and they decide to get a little exotic. This time they are bringing the slot corner off the edge. Just really good communication from this offensive line and maturity right here. Good communication. Will passes off the end to the guard, and everything is just protected well. This is good offensive line coaching by Brad Davis. You can give any quarterback that type of time. We got to hit that ball right there, though, to Mason Taylor. So I'm going to be honest with you. This is not an easy throw. We are running all verts, it looks like. No, we weren't running all verts. Let's see. We're running a go, it looks like, at the top. Come back, go, come back. And this is a very difficult seam throw to the tight end. I don't think he got alligator arms, but Nuss is throwing that football high to make sure the underneath defender doesn't pick it off. We do get an opposite angle here. You want to be careful not staring down a seamer. You see how long he keeps his eyes right here on Mason Taylor? Number one, it can lead to a pick. And number two, it can lead to a total depletion of a player, right? He's staring him down, and this ball is thrown over 20, and he's not getting anywhere close to that. It's just a very inaccurately thrown football, and Mason did get a little alligator army there, and that makes sense, right? But yeah, you always got to be careful on those throws over the middle like that to not stare it down. Something I really like about Jayden Daniels is he's always very engaged in the game, whether he's in the game or not. I've always appreciated that about him. Just, all the intangibles you want out of a quarterback, Jayden's got it. And, we saw, it was a viral image of Garrett and Jayden cheering on Walker Howard that I like a lot. So here we go. It's 3rd and 4, and they are showing a house blitz, and it looks like it's 0-man coverage across the way. Now, Garrett Nussmeier is making some adjustments here at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if it's an audible from him. I don't know if it's an audible at all, or if this was, signaled in by BK or Mike Denbrock. But this was a very good play call. So we talk about this a lot on the channel. When you get to this portion of the field in this extended field goal range, which is around like the 25 to the 35, 40-ish yard line, teams love to blitz because if they sack you, you're probably not going to go for it on 4th. And you're probably not going to have a field goal kicker that has a good enough leg to kick it. So in this situation, Purdue had been bailing out quite a bit. But here, you would expect them to bring everyone. And they do. So we call a rollout to the left. And this is just really good offensive line play right here. We allow the unblocked defender to come from this edge away from the rollout. Really good stuff. Good slide protection to the left from the offensive line. And now we need Garrett Nussmeier to make a very difficult throw right here to Mason Taylor, throwing across his body. He could have had a simpler throw right there to John, but he makes the better throw vertically down the field. And this time we hit Mason Taylor right on the numbers. Just excellent offense overall from LSU. Okay, and you get the all 22 of it here. It's just a very good call versus 0, right? Slide it to the left to make sure no blitzers are coming off the edge. And it's straight man-to-man coverage. Just excellent stuff. We're running what's called a whip route, where you fake like you're going to the inside and whip back to the outside. That is a long developing route. So you have to roll out to buy some time. Could have hit Emory. You had 3 open guys. That's a tough throw across your body to Malik. Hit him or hit Mason down the field, and look at that. I mean, you just can't throw a football better than that. So it's RPO time again. Let's see if Garrett Nussmeier makes the correct decision here, and he does, or at least I think he does. All right, we decide to go to the quick screen to the right, and yeah, once again, it's not the absolute cleanest blocked play. Remember what we said about keeping your feet. You always want to keep your feet, unless you are for sure going to clear hurdle over somebody. So right here, the key block is through here, and we allow this guy to split this a little too easy, but we're still able to pick up a nice gain, and it was the correct decision to throw it. Just don't leave your feet right there, and we pick up a nice gain on first. Decide to keep moving. This is just, this is what Brian Kelly wants out of his football program. When you get down into the red zone, you have to punish these teams. Okay, so we've been hitting them with all these quick screens to the outside, and even though we have, our backup receivers in, they now just have to start respecting this. So when they start respecting these quick throws to the outside, they now just have more defenders guarding it. Remember, just a minute ago, they only had, 2 guys out here to guard our 2. Now they got 3. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You want to know why a good tight end really changes your offense? Before the snap, he was out here. We rotate him in, and now we have a numbers advantage. Let's punish it with a simple run to the inside, and punish it we do indeed. Look at that. And you'll get an end zone angle here in just a second. That was quite simply one of the best block plays I've ever seen an LSU offensive line have. Kind of reminds me of the Florida game from 2020. So let's take a look. And I meant to say Florida game for 2021, but Will was by far our best offensive lineman in this game. Look at this double right here with Frazier and Campbell. What's very interesting about Nuss, right, is what we want to determine is him at quarterback. How much does it affect our running game? Because Jayden being out there just makes our running game have a lot more gravity, if you will, because you have to respect Jayden's ability to run so much. So we're doing a little bit of a zone read here, and Mason Taylor's coming around to kick out this player. But if you're getting a double team like this one, where the double is starting to clear out into the second level, where the linebacker is starting to get washed, it makes this pass off for Will to get to this backer a lot easier. So all Will has to do is just seal this backer to the inside. The end respected Garrett's ability to run, and also the slip right there for Mason Taylor to the outside, and just look at that. Safety is running himself out of the play because he was also respecting Mason Taylor, and that is exactly what you want, baby. Can't do it any better than that, and Will should get credit for the touchdown along with the Frazier. Just epic stuff. So I know we should just get to the next play, but I want to shout out Brian Kelly's hire of Frank Wilson. Obviously, this was a big day for Frank, his son getting a pick 6 of epic proportions, the longest pick 6 in LSU history, or I would just guess it is 99 yards. It was epic. But, Frank just got these running backs playing a lot better, and it's crazy. So I give them a lot of credit. I also want to give some credit to Jarek Bernard-Converse, as he was just so lights out towards the end of the year, and hopefully Chestnut, Johnson, Denvo Bands, and LaTerrence Welsh and many others step up, Zy Alexander. So yeah, we get to the next rep right here from Garrett Nussmeier. It's obviously the end of the half. It's 28-0, but nothing really changes here. We're still trying to get points. We have still 2 timeouts remaining, so you can still run your normal offense. And, if you see this look, once again, just do quick numbers count. They only had 5 people in the box. Let's bring another big body in there. So now we have a 7-on-5 situation here. And that's what a lot of these motions are telling the quarterback, okay? So by motioning this defender right here, that lets Garrett Nussmeier know that now this is single high safety, and they're likely going to be blitzing somebody, and that is exactly what happens, okay? So Garrett Nussmeier makes a quick throw to the outside, and this is just really good stuff. They actually simulated pressure this, and this defender had to get out here to Mason Taylor, and we get a very nice gain right here on first. Okay, really good reading. And this is something that I think is kind of difficult, and I call this, the Maddenification of football. You do see Malik Neighbors open up here, but this is also, a situation where if your first read is open, you just take it. No need to full field read backside right here, unless you really want to take the gamble. So for some reason, this was a major coverage bust, and boom, right there, okay? There's no way Garrett Nussmeier could have known that, though, just by looking at the pre-snap alignment, right? Get the football out quickly, especially if your back is to your own end zone and we have a big lead. But, pre-snap, if you do see this and you do see this backer is this far to the inside and this safety is this far back, maybe you do work backside to Malik on an in-breaking route, right? Because you would like to think this corner who doesn't have inside leverage and it's to the outside of Malik, you would like to think that Malik is beating him to the outside right here, to the inside right here, and he does. So once again, hit your first read, but as you advance as a quarterback, you start looking towards the middle of the field and just, don't just look at your first read. If the defense gives you an unbelievable look like they did right there, you can work backside. So it's quarterbacking gets complicated, right? It really is. If I were to give Jayden Daniels one, big A+ rating in his improvement in this game, he did do a better job, in particular, of hitting Malik over the middle of the field, because Malik was wide open over the middle versus Florida State and some other games. So this was a step forward for Jayden, and that will eventually be a step forward for Garrett as well. Okay, so it's second down. They're showing single high again. Okay, we're back to throw. Protection has just been immaculate all day, and this right here is, it's got to be one of the top 3 throws of the day. Believe it or not, this mistake was actually made by Jayden Daniels in the game versus Georgia on the very first drive. I believe it was the very first drive of the game. He missed BTJ on a seamer that would have gone for a big gain, and Garrett does right here as well. And, it's a big miss right there, okay? Now, once again, it goes back to what you're taught, all right? Your first read here is open, and this throw is abso-freaking-lutely immaculate. But let's do some pre-snap processing here, okay? So this is a single high safety look, right? And right here versus press man, you would like to think that the safety is going to help over the top of this player. You notice the safety is closer to this hash mark over here, okay? Now, we're running a vertical here, come back here, and a comeback here, okay? Now, we have a tight end over, we have a linebacker over the tight end, okay? So, the safety obviously works here once he sees that Garrett Nussmeier's head is snapped this way. So he works over the top, and then bang, right there, okay? And once again, this still ends up being one of the best throws of the day, but there were better options. So let's actually take a look at the end zone angle here. All right, so once again, you see the safety over here. He eventually drifts over here, but now he's looking right. We had plenty of time to work back left for the seam route. But what I want you to do is, let's just act like this never happened. Look at when Garrett Nussmeier decided to throw this football, okay? Look at that. Just look at that. It's not even out of his break. That is unfreaking believable quarterback play, okay? Look at when he has decided to throw this football. And Orlovsky is drawing this up, and look at where this football is located. Tight spiral to the outside, okay? Actually, it wasn't a tight spiral. This ball actually came out a little funky. It came out a little funky. Kind of rare for Nuss. What a catch by Kyron Lacey. He'll make the tough ones, drop the easy ones, but excellent route by Kyron. There's Cortez Hankton cheering him on. There's Garrett cheering him on. There's Walker cheering him on. So, yeah, it's complicated. There was another option on that play, obviously the seam right there to Mason, but the safety was over the top. It's difficult, right? Do you think you would have time to work right, then work back left? I don't know. So still, it is a very good play, and it's coached up differently, right? Some coaches will tell you, hey, let's look right, move the safety, and take advantage of the tight end versus linebacker matchup there. But still, also Mason is not necessarily our most vertical weapon either. Still, we're cooking with grease. We had two nice gains. Could have been two bigger gains. But still, we're up 28-0. Let's get it. Let's see what happens here. This time the pocket wasn't the cleanest. And look at where this ball is. God bless. Malik Neighbors is just so phenomenal. And I know this is not a great team, but this route to sell inside and then work back to the outside, it's excellent stuff. This time the protection isn't as clean, but it's still really good. Nuss, look at how quick and compact this release is. Boom. See how fluid that is? It's very quick. It's very decisive. That time it was a tight spiral. We had our wide receiver right in the hands, and that is just excellent stuff, okay? Now we need Malik to make a guy miss, and that was actually just a really good tackle right there by Zero. But still, it's good offense. So now we get to hear the trick play. Just excellent stuff. I was a little shocked because LSU wasn't really a trick play offense, and I kind of wish they would have done more tricks knowing that Malik has a good throwing motion, right? I don't know what that safety was thinking right there. Malik actually got hit when he released this football, and he throws – that is a dime, honestly, all things considered, for a receiver throwing that ball. Good job by Kyron making this guy miss and gaining some extra yards. Just keep running into the space. But he still makes that guy miss. We pick up a very, very, very nice gain. Way to carry him all the way down the field. He's still breaking tackles. Good game from Kyron. There you go. Slade Roy's parents. Shout out to them. Met them at SEC Championship game. Gotta love it. Got to love it. The first and goal, it's interesting. You get a little unlucky that it's right on the 10-yard line. But yeah, we score an easy touchdown, and quite literally BTJ walked this entire route. You're just never going to get an easier touchdown than this. And once again, BTJ's not even going at full speed. And, they're just giving up. And I don't blame them. Get your Cheez-Its and get out. Good stuff. So obviously, this is just good stuff again from Garrett NUSSMEIER, stepping up into the pocket, two hands on the football. Obviously, Jayden is not the worst at stepping up in the pocket. He's not the absolute best. But when Jayden steps up in the pocket, he does tend to panic and not keep his eyes down the field. And this is actually a slower developing play. So obviously BTJ is waiting for Malik to clear out. Garrett could have hit Kyron right here, but he sees that the protection's good. He steps up into this pocket, and he just waits for BTJ to clear out right there, and it's just an easy tutty. Once again, things are never going to be that easy in a game setting, even against an FCS opponent, to be quite honest. Purdue had just given up at this point, but still good stuff, good mechanics, step him in the pocket, two hands on the football, and we score an easy tutty. Bam! I'm looking at you. Yes, you. So, if you're a Purdue fan watching this right now, and I know we have fans from different fan bases tune in, we were in the spot last year, right? Getting blown out with our new head coach being interviewed by the broadcast crew while they were watching their team fall apart. So if you are a Purdue fan, I understand it was cool to have Drew Brees on the sideline, but you also knew that, your coach, got up and left, and, your new hired coach is in the broadcast booth while you're getting destroyed. So we've been there. We understand it. So I'm going to show some love to the LSU defense. We're not doing much defensive breakdowns, obviously, because of the level of competition, but I'm so glad that Greg Brooks is back. I did like to see him back at the nickel just to see what we were going to do, because it very well could be that Greg Brooks is your starting nickel next season, and we decide to rush 3. We get Greg Brooks getting off of this route, passing it off, and just reading this passing lane. Just nasty stuff. Here, he actually got a little unlucky because the throw was so bad. He had to leave his feet to catch that ball because it was fading. So yeah, he got robbed of a pick 6 right there. So another reason I showed that interception is they actually called LSU for not 1 but 2 unsportsmanlike penalties. I hate that, right? If you're going to give 1, just give 1, right? It was only because of a celebration, and the celebration went viral. I just think it's just BS, especially in a bowl game. No one got hurt. Kids are just having fun. I just hate excessive celebration penalties just in general. They're fine, okay? No one is losing sleep over it. So now we got Cardell Thomas in the game at right guard. And look at him getting a nice kick-out block right there for John Emery. Such a well-blocked play. And Emery is able to, he could have gotten through there a little bit cleaner, maybe. But we get a nice gain right here on first. Right now, when you're getting blown out, I do like that Mike Denbrock does this. He likes to experiment with different plays. So what we're trying to do here is we've been hitting Malik Neighbors on little outs on these rollouts. So now we're going to do an out and up. So he rolls out, and then he goes upfield, okay? Where this play actually gets blown up, though, is right here through this B gap, and it was Cardell who missed his block, okay? I don't know whose assignment this was, but 90, again, was just the only player for Purdue who played worth a darn, and he actually blows this play up. So we're pulling the left guard around here to pick up any scraps coming off the edge, and 90 actually is able to split through Emory Jones and Cardell Thomas. And once again, it comes down to how you're actually coached here. Cardell needs to block everything through this A gap, and Emory Jones through this B gap. Kind of like with the JAYDEN film study and just throughout the year, we struggle blocking exotic stuff coming through the right side B gap all year long, whether it was twists coming through this way or that way. And you see 90 splits it, and then he also gets into Tremont Shorts right here. And Shorts could have done a better job, and I know he got spooked by this because his job is to come around here and pick anything up coming off the edge. He could have done a better job of just earholing this guy. Just go bang, hit him. You see, he just kind of catches him, and it splits through, and it forces Garrett Nussmeier to give ground. Okay? So Shorts' job would have been to block this edge guy. Mason, of course, has to let him go right here on this rollout to the right to not commit a holding penalty. So this gets blown up by 2 different players, and Garrett has to really chunk this football on the out and up. Okay? So he's fading away, throwing on his off foot, and honestly, it wasn't a bad throw, okay? But Malik had to make too big of an adjustment here for it, and it's an incompletion. 3rd and 4, and I don't know what Purdue is doing here, and I think Garrett Nussmeier was like, hey, you're going to give BTJ off coverage on 3rd and short, down by 42. We're just going to take it all day. Just excellent read right here by Garrett Nussmeier. Just get it out there. Obviously not the best throw. If you're BTJ in this situation, on 3rd and 4, just get vertical, make sure we get the yardage, and we get it, and there you go. All righty, so 1st and 10, handoff here the entire way. I think the timing was off here. We might have snapped this football a little too soon. As you can see, Mason is trying to figure out what he's trying to do here. And, God, this is a good run right here by John. Getting skinny, making this guy miss, keeping his feet, and just running right through there. It's really good stuff. Good run by John. Dear Lord, John. once again, our rush yards after contact, and I know it's 42-0 and they're hurt. God, get a block by Kyron Lacey. Kyron with a really good game. That's single-digit kind of stuff right there. They might flag you for taunting with that, though, so be careful. Excellent stuff from John. Good hustle by Cardell, and we pick up a nice gain. Okay. You give Cardell a lot of credit for hustling down here. Why do this, though? Oh, he saw him push Mason, and then he pushed him. There's no reason to do that. I love the energy Emory Jones plays with. Look at that. Excellent stuff. Pick up 2 yards on first. A great Drew Brees right there. It is now 2nd and 8. And, once again, it's pretty clear they're not doing anything crazy here. It's just rush 4, drop 7 into coverage. And, yeah, it's just really good quarterbacking, once again, by, Garrett Nussmeier. It's just, it honestly just is very simple stuff. This guy can't get out to Malik quick enough, and BTJ does a good job shielding this player while not actually hitting him, and that gives Malik that much more time to get out there, and this ball is delivered on his upfield shoulder. And it's just good offense versus very predictable defense. And I'm actually glad Malik didn't score here because it gives LSU a glimpse into what they can do with Garrett in the future, because this is a really good learning moment. All right, we get the 1st and goal, and I get asked a lot about why doesn't Cardell Thomas play more. So, he's not the absolute, just when I seen him play in very small samples, obviously a lot of it is in blowout time, but he did play a lot versus Texas A&M. He just has some of these penalties, right? He had the late hit that should have been called, and right here, he flinches. Alrighty, so on the play before, on the actual false start penalty, this was actually Clayton, the punt returner, as a receiver. Okay? This is honestly not a bad read right here by Garrett Nussmeier because he knows he has a goal line fade right here. So this is what looks like an RPO. Doesn't help that the snap wasn't the absolute perfect, but it's still good, right? It's a little low in a way, and Nuss decides to not actually run this ball. And you see right here, the release by Kyron was actually really good. He slow played it, and the DB is actually behind him, okay? So all we need Garrett to do is throw this football out, and Kyron will actually run underneath it. And as you can see, he puts a little too much air under this ball, and it gets picked, okay? Now, it's just a bad throw. There's really just no other excuses for it. I mean, Kyron gets great separation. This would have been a great touchdown for his confidence. You just got to throw this ball out there, and, yeah, we just basically gift it. And Kyron actually did a really good job of making this a difficult pick as well, fighting his way back into it. And it gives these cheerleaders something to cheer about. So, good play by 7, and just a really bad throw right there by Garrett Nussmeier. There's just no other way around it. All right, so we trot Garrett back out there. Honestly, he had not made really any mistakes, like really bad mistakes, outside of the sailed seam route to Mason Taylor where he stared him down. That was obviously a very critical one, and that's the downside of Garrett Nussmeier as a quarterback is, there's going to be a turnover more than likely mixed in there at some point. And, it's something that obviously needs to get cleaned up. So what do we do on 1st and 10? Garrett, says, hey, are we good to go? Well, we just get the football into Malik Neighbors' hands as quick as possible, and that's always a really good option, okay? This obviously does wonders for your passing numbers, and look at that. We get what we want. Guys over penetrating, well-blocked play. Good job by Deli or that was Will, of course. And now it's just off to the races. And this cutback is truly incredible. I saw a tweet from an LSU staffer that Malik cleared 21 miles per hour pretty easily. That's elite speed, folks. And, he breaks that tackle, and then the cutback here is just truly special while also not stepping out of bounds. It's just magnificent stuff, right? And 7 was dancing, right? So, this was obviously Garrett Nussmeier's last snap, and it was Walker Howard the rest of the way. And we'll probably do a Walker Howard film study at some point from his performance in these games. So, boom! I'm looking at you. Yes, you. So, let me know what you guys think. Obviously, these film studies do get demonetized, so feel free to drop a Venmo, Cash App, all that good stuff. It goes a long way. Please join our PHL Patreon. You get exclusive Discord access and all that good stuff. And look, I'm loving how we are growing together as a channel. Big shout out to Van, John Sibley, Jared, Max. There's so many of you very generous. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. So let's have a conversation here about Garrett Nussmeier in this performance. So this now marks 2 consecutive games where Garrett was fantastic, right? The Georgia performance was obviously better than this one because of the level of competition. Georgia starters were still in the game, but of course, when you're up by that much, the foot does go off the gas pedal just a little bit if you are Georgia. But thus his QBR, even with the interception, was well over 90, and you saw a lot of really good things. You make a case the incompletion to Malik on the deep go route was, his best throw, even though it was slightly underthrown. You saw the Kyron Lacey throw with the anticipation, something that JAYDEN does not do. And it's just really good stuff, honestly. I am a big Garrett Nussmeier fan. I really do believe in his ability, and obviously the turnover is something that does concern you. Annie Shink, Hillary Schenk. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She was so nice to me when I was in Baton Rouge, so shout out to her. Really good photographer for The Advocate. Now, my hat almost fell off. By the way, we're almost sold out. Get them while you can. We're going to have all offseason to talk about the Garrett Nussmeier versus Jayden Daniels thing if Garrett Nussmeier elects to stay, right? He very well could make a decision to go anywhere. By the time this video actually gets posted. Because obviously, I'm currently, ironically, in Dallas right now for a bachelor's party. So this is obviously, pre-recorded and all of that. We know Jayden Daniels isn't going anywhere. I also don't think Garrett Nussmeier is going anywhere, but this could very well be dated by then. I'm not hearing anything to the contrary, other than, I did have a conversation with someone close to the Nussmeiers, and it was a very good conversation. But get Garrett Nussmeier in there when the score was still, and the game was still in the balance at the 7-0 margin, right? Because rarely have we seen a Garrett Nussmeier play when the game was still in the balance. So that was obviously a very good decision by Brian Kelly. It's also kind of bold. The score was still 7-0. You don't know what Purdue was going to have out there. Still, I'm very happy that they did that, and I'm very happy that Garrett did indeed have a chance to play in this bowl game. I have not heard anything as far as if he is interested in going somewhere else, but it is very interesting. TCU is just always going to be heavily rumored with Garrett Nussmeier because they need a quarterback. There's an LSU guy that is close to Garrett that did transfer there. There's going to be all kinds of transfer speculation with Nuss because of the tape that he has put out there. But as of right now, I don't think he's going anywhere. I just don't. So we'll see. But, I am very impressed with the mechanics of Garrett Nussmeier, the verticality of Garrett Nussmeier, and, as far as some of these mistakes that we see happen, who cares, right? This is only his second year, where, as we showed you with the Jayden Daniels film study, he has 43 starts, where Garrett Nussmeier has 0. Now, I still think at this point right now, Jayden should be the guy, but I hope Garrett Nussmeier stays. I really do. And we'll do a Walker Howard film study at some point, but I understand that, there's going to be such a heavy discussion about what is actually going to happen with Garrett Nussmeier, but he's very good. And he is a quarterback that I think is a bona fide Power 5 starting quarterback. And there is, a different aspect that he brings to the offense. And you saw it today. You saw some really, really, really good stuff. And the second thing I would say about that is, well, people like being around Garrett Nussmeier. They just do. Like, everyone I talk to about this, he's well liked, like Jayden Daniels, and they do like each other. So could there be a potential 2-quarterback system next year for LSU? I think Brian Kelly would be a little bit more open to it. And also, Brian Kelly is a guy who's played 2-quarterback systems going back to Notre Dame. But I don't necessarily see that being his preferred option with this team, because he was very explicit after last year's spring game that he wanted to not have a 2-quarterback system. So, it's very, very interesting. So comment down below, which quarterback do you think was better in this game for LSU versus Purdue? Garrett Nussmeier's QBR, like Jayden Daniels, was north of 90, which is almost as good as it gets. It does help out, though, that, you get the stat patter of all stat patters. This little, jet sweep jump pass, the Tyreek Hill play that was popularized by the Chiefs. It's a good throw, right? Perfectly thrown football. But yeah, comment down below your thoughts on today's film study. Don't forget, sometimes I do get demonetized, so feel free to drop a donation. I really appreciate you. It is Power Hour LSU. Bow. And tonight, we're going out for some Mexican food tonight. Let's go.